Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good evening. Some of you, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Got a lot of information to go over today and a lot of stuff to talk about. Wait for people to get their notifications. Jump in the live chat if you're here. So, hello, Eagle Curtis. How are you, man? Yeah, so I don't know if any of you have noticed, but it seems America is kind of falling apart on the college campuses, that's for sure. Hello, Born for This. Hello, Night Love. How are y'all doing? Hey, Barb, you're on time. Hello, Susan Mine. Good to see you. Hello, Sanders71. Good to see you. Hello, Keep Looking Up. Good to see you. But yeah, so the one that I'm kind of focused on right now is, so like last night I got up, man, it must have been 3:30 a.m. my time, maybe 3 a.m. my time. And I got a website that I go to that gives me kind of different streams that are going on where things are happening across America. And someone was streaming from UCLA. And I watched that thing unfold myself for probably about, I don't know, 3.5 hours. I watched that whole thing unfold. It was quite something, I'll tell you. It was something. Hello, John Misick. Good to see you. Hello, Robert Lang. Good to see you. Hello. Hope y'all are having a good evening. I'll try not to ruin your good evening with all the information. But so a lot of people, and as I was watching this whole thing unfold, hello, Pinky. Good evening. As I was watching this whole thing unfold with the UCLA, the guy that was streaming it, man, he had a real biased opinion. I noticed that he kept having to say his opinion over and over again to make people kind of, in my opinion, when you're doing something like that, when you're live streaming, and there were even reporters behind him saying, "Hey, man, stay neutral, stay neutral," and he was just getting real emotional, really emotionally whipped up, and kept kind of going off on Jews. And one thing I will tell you, and I noticed this about a lot of this college campus stuff, is a lot of these people who are taking part in this stuff aren't even the students. They're not even the students, and most of them are like middle-aged people. Like there's just strangers showing up that aren't even going to school at these places that are taking part in these things. And I don't know if I should show the footage or not. I do have one of the videos. My name isn't Chad Elanka Johnson. My name is Josh, but that's okay. If you want to call me Chad, go ahead. God bless you, sister. Hello, Marie H. God bless you. Hello, Lizzie B. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I had a lot of gardening work to do today. I wanted to get some stuff done and kind of like just muse upon what the Lord wants me to do with this tonight, because there's a lot of information to unpack with this. Not to mention, it's the Illuminati's founding holiday, May Day. Not a lot of people know this, but May Day is an anniversary for the Illuminati. Okay, part of me wonders what's going to happen tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. Once we notice when dark settles, things start to happen. You know what I mean? Things start to happen. But so, anyways, so UCLA. Let's talk about this. Just UCLA in general. You know, I'm not too much aware of what's going on at the other ones. But man, I'm telling you, this stuff is unfolding exactly like I called it. I mean, for those of you who watch this channel often, you know that I called this stuff coming. I said when the Middle East starts to get going, I said the Antifas and the multiple letter groups and things like that are going to get out in the streets. Didn't I tell you? I warned you. I warned you. It's happening exactly as it was written out. We're going to go through that today. Born for This, you might not want to watch this live stream then, because you know we're going to be covering this in depth, you know, and talking about it. I think it needs to be talked about. But if you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. But we're going to be covering that subject. I'm so sorry that you had a panic attack. It was nuts. It was nuts. For those of you who haven't seen like the hours long live stream, I mean, you had to watch it unfold. You had to watch it unfold. Born for this, you may not want to be here for this one. Then God bless you, and I hope you have a good evening. If you decide to take off, I totally respect that. But I watched this thing unfold. I watched these people show up. I mean, they were shooting fireworks at each other and stuff. I mean, that's crazy. Anyways, so the pals, I'm going to call them pro pals. I'm going to call them pro pals. You know who I'm talking about, pro Palestinians. Okay, we're going to just say that once, but pro pals is what I'm going to call them. All right, so for future reference, we call them pro pals here on this channel. The pro pals got super violent during the day yesterday. All right, super violent during the day. There was a young lady that they absolutely ganged up on. There was like 5 people that beat the snot out of this woman. Unfortunately, I have to tell you what goes on and how this all snowballed into what it was last night and into the early morning hours today. But they beat the snot out of this woman to where she was unconscious. And I don't know if she had any injuries. I do know that she did have a mark on her head. When they parted her hair, she did have a mark. She's pretty out of it, probably concussed. I'm assuming from whatever happened to her. And poor lady, I feel bad. But anyways, there was also a journalist that was there at the UCLA, just kind of documenting things. And dude, the pro pals held him hostage. Like they held him hostage. Like these people were actively being violent. I watched them chasing down people, like gangs of people. And you could see the people, the Jews that were being chased, you could see just the dread and the panic on their face. They're like, what is about to happen to me? I mean, I've been in situations where multiple people ganged up on me, and I know that feeling, and my heart really goes out to those people. And so in the Bible, it says those that live by the sword die by the sword. And I think more or less if we kind of get away from the whole killing thing and we just go into, if you're going to live violently, violence is going to be done to you. And so out of nowhere, these pro pals they have this encampment, and I think they expected it. I honestly, some of it, I don't think all of it, but I think a portion of it was staged. Like they want to get this going. And don't think for a hot New York minute that the powers that be don't control both sides. All right, absolutely control both sides. I could go into talking about back in the old days in the 50s, how there were certain groups, you know what I mean, that would go out and terrorize neighborhoods, okay, and do terrible things to people, okay, terrible things to people. But when the funding and the dishing out of the money stopped coming in, these people stopped going out and doing these things, So the majority of these groups have a financial backer, and that's just plain and outright what it is. There's a financial backer, good old Jorge Soros, if you know what I'm saying. Jorge Soros, he's absolutely one of the financial backers, if not financial backer of both sides. I'm going to say it. I went there. Yeah, I went there. But absolutely, what's going on is they're trying to stir up things. And like I said, we're going to get into it here. This good old letter we've read quite a few times. And I'm sorry that, we got to go into it again, but I want to prove my point here. They were terrorizing all sorts of Jews throughout the day and assaulting people throughout the day. And then there's a group of guys that showed up. And man, I'll tell you what, you watch that footage, they meant business. And I wouldn't say that they were super organized, but you could tell there was a few of them that were very organized in what they were doing. They knew what to do. They knew how to go about it. But the whole thing at UCLA just fell apart at the seams. I mean, it was something else. So it is part of the Illuminati's plan, and I want to make this very clear here. Very clear here. It is part of the Illuminati's plan as war is breaking out in the Middle East, okay, between the Muslims and the Jews, all right, I don't care what nation they're from, between the Muslims and the Jews, you are going to see in other nations these Antifa types and pro-pals and terrorist groups, things like that, going out and doing these things. It's going to get worse, okay, because they wrote it out back in, the 1800s in 1871. And so basically, from what I saw as I was watching this unfold, I'm like, this is exactly what I've been talking about on End Times Talk. It's no different, no different. And so I want to go into this here as people are watching, so that way you understand where I'm coming from with all of this. So that way, you're in the know as well, what the Illuminati plan is. And so, but I have to talk about what this letter is to prove its existence, to prove that it is a reality. Sorry, my camera's not wanting to focus here. Oh, for some reason, it doesn't like focusing. Oh, well, we're going to have to deal with it blurry. It'll focus eventually. Hold on. There we go. All right, sorry about that. I hate a blurry screen. It's a pet peeve of mine. Anyways, so the British Museum Library in London had this letter hanging on the wall up until 1977. This letter right here between Giuseppe Mazzini and Albert Pike. We're not going to go through the First World War and the Second World War, but I can promise you, and I've talked about this before, I can promise you that both the First World War and the Second World War happened as it is written out in this document. And as we're going to read the Third World War, okay, you will find out it hung on the wall until 1977. Uplifting Joe, 1977. In the British Museum Library in London, okay, and like I was saying, Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary leader of the mid 1800s, as well as the director of the Illuminati. So on May 1st, 1776 is when the Bavarian Illuminati was formed. Okay, so May 1st, today's May 1st. Okay, great day to talk about it. But the Adam Weishaupt, okay, was a Jesuit priest at the time, and at the time the Pope had disbanded the Jesuits. Okay, and I'm telling you what, this cheesed off Weishaupt big time. And so he had a lot of occult knowledge and things like that, and he was a genius. He was absolutely a genius. His IQ was through the roof. Okay, and the Rothschilds family got a hold of him, contacted him, and they said, you have the knowledge to do what we want to do. We have the money to back you. You create this, we'll back you. The Illuminati was formed 1776 on May 1st. Not July 4th, but May 1st. So the Illuminati eventually was discovered in Bavaria, Germany, and outlawed, all right? The leader there, the I don't know, the Duke or whatever, he kicked him out. He's like, get out of here, So a lot of them went to Europe. They went to Britain, London, whatever, and got things going there. But anyways, like I said, after Adam Weishaupt had died, okay, the torch was passed to Giuseppe Mazzini, all right, in Italy, and that's where the mafia was formed. And yes, the Illuminati controls the mafia, okay? But Albert Pike, who was a historical Masonic figure, he was a 33rd degree Mason. He ran the southern chapters of Freemasonry here in America, and he was an occultist. He was a Grand Master. He was in, the Ku Klux Klan. We're going to just say it. He was part of that. And, like I said, he was part of the southern jurisdiction of Freemasonry and in the Scottish Rite, okay, which is the Blue Lodge, all right? Anyways, they started passing letters back and forth discussing the way that they wanted to bring about the Antichrist, all right? These two men were I'll tell you what, Albert Pike was absolutely hailed as basically, like, I don't know how to put it in proper terms, but he basically wrote the Freemasonic Bible, which is called Morals and Dogma. These people hold in high esteem Albert Pike, very much so. Manly P. Hall, Albert Pike. There's a couple of other high-end occultist writers that they revere. Okay, and Albert Pike was one of them, and so they kind of follow his stuff to a T. And I'll tell you right now, They wrote out the First World War, the Second World War. It happened exactly as they wanted it to. The First World War was to basically establish communism. The Second World War was to strengthen communism, destroy Nazism. And the reason I bring up Nazism is because a lot of people, and this is why I have to explain this, a lot of people will try to counter this document, okay, and say this is a fraud, a fake, a phony document, because Nazism wasn't around in 1871. And I had done some research and basically had stumbled upon how that actually Nazism was around before 1871. And you can pause the video and read this for yourself if you would like. But I can tell you right now that the ideas behind Nazism go all the way back to 1841, and this letter was written in 1871. So 30 years before this letter was ever realized, the ideas behind Nazi imperialism were there, and in 1856 they were definitely strengthened, okay? So Nazism was very much so a growing thing, and the anti-fascist movement was a part of this, okay? Antifa, if you will. And so, once again, they're using them once again, okay, to help ferment the Third World War, all right? But I want to read this document to you, okay? The Third World War must be fermented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. That's happening. That's absolutely happening right now, to a T, been going on for quite some time. It says the war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. It doesn't mean destroy each other's countries or states or whatever, but it does mean to just destroy each other, to attack each other, to try to annihilate each other. And I think that they're doing this to bring forth a two-state solution. I think that they're going to have that. I think they're going to push for that. And they're already talking about, I think, Eastern Jerusalem becoming the, New Palestine, basically, is I think what they're going to call it. It says right here, and this is where we get to what's going on in America right now. Pay close attention. This stuff is crucial to understand. Meanwhile, the other nations, so not Muslim nations, not the state of Israel, but meanwhile, the other nations once more divided on this issue. So the issue of Palestinians and Jews. Look what's happening. It's happening, people. It's absolutely happening. All right. It says, meanwhile, the other nations once more divided on this issue will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. Look what's happening. They're sending out these people, and there's fights that are starting and brewing. It's getting pretty violent, folks. I'm not going to lie. I've seen some very brutal stuff that not a lot of people are seeing because of how brutal it is. Okay. Anyways, it says, we shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists. Who's going to unleash the nihilists and the atheists? The Illuminati are. The Illuminati are going to unleash the nihilists and the atheists. And that is absolutely, like I said before, your Antifa types, your pro-pals. These people don't believe in God. They just have an excuse to do what they're doing. And that's why they say, free Palestine, from the river to the sea. You know what I'm saying? And that basically means the destruction of Israel. When you hear that term, from the river to the sea, they're saying from the, I think it's the River Jordan. I'm not exactly sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But from that river all the way to the sea, they want to take all that land from Israel. They want to annihilate Israel, wipe it out so the Palestinians can have it all. And so, they're unleashing the nihilists and the atheists. And that's, like I said, your multiple letter groups, your pro-pals, your Antifa. I saw when they were kidnapping, when they were holding a journalist hostage, these people, they all have the Palestinian stuff and things like that. But there's a woman, you see a man being backed up against a wall. You know what I mean? And he's just like, whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean? And these people start like holding up blankets so he can't film anything or anything like that because there's an assault happening in the background, right? And so what they do is they block his view and they literally like hold him there against the wall. And they're behind him, behind this wall as well, encircling him. You know what I mean? And so right on the forehead of one of the people's bandanas is an anti-fascist flag, the Antifa flag, okay, that goes all the way back before Nazi Germany, okay, all the way back before the 1930s. They were around, I think, in the 1920s. The Antifa movement goes all the way back to Nazi Germany, and they're the ones that claim that you're the Nazis. You see what I'm saying? For those of you who stand against them, okay? So the Illuminati is going to unleash the nihilists and the atheists, which they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Which they're doing right on the college campuses, because that's where they can make the biggest impact. That's where, you know, people aren't that learned, and they're just doing and regurgitating what they're taught and told by the people who have a radicalized agenda within those universities, right? So it says, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm. What's happening? What's happening all over America, my friends? What's happening all over America? You are seeing riots in the streets. You're seeing riots at you know, the universities and the colleges, right? So they're provoking a formidable social cataclysm, all right? And so what I'm saying is that this is happening. This is happening, all right? This is absolutely happening. And there's 4 paragraphs here, and we're midway into the second one. So that's how far we are. We're halfway into World War III if we just go by what this is, right? If we just go by what this is, what the Illuminati are telling us they're going to do, this is happening exactly to a T. So it says that this formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations the effects of absolute atheism, and I'm telling you right now, and we're going to go there. During the George Floyd riots, that I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely get sick of them doing what they're doing and using someone's name to do it. They always got to have an excuse to do these things. They use these cover stories like Free Palestine or George Floyd to go out and just do this stuff that they're being paid to do, right? And whether it's a conspiracy or not is irrelevant here to what we're talking about, because they're basically rioting upon a man's death. You know what I mean? I mean, one guy died, and they're trying to destroy America, right? So, like I said, they're atheists, and so during those riots, during lockdown, the last lockdown that we had, another one's coming, and we're going to talk about that today. Yep, we're going to talk about bird flu and all of it. There's a lot going on. All right. These people were going out, and when you actually stop to listen to the videos and what these Antifa types and even, I'm going to say it, the BLM and all this stuff, what they were saying, okay, and I'm not against black people, absolutely not, but I am against these radicalized organizations that are trying to bring the downfall of society, not just in America, but across the globe. All right. Plain and simple. Okay. Plain and simple. I have friends who are black. Okay. I have friends who are black. All right. Anyways, so my point is that when you listen to these people out in the streets yelling, all they were doing was blaspheming God. And I mean the most obscene, the most hate-filled blasphemies that they could possibly think up. And I'm telling you that the LGBTQ movement and all that stuff was doing the same thing. The same thing. They all got out of the streets. They shouted from the rooftops as loud as they can go that they hate God, that they want to see the destruction of God, okay? And that's, I think, in my opinion, not only was a big part of those earlier riots that we saw with those groups, but it was also the fact that there was all this pent-up rage from being locked down for multiple years, okay? Now, here's the thing. These people don't do what they're doing unless they're being paid to do it. I'm telling you. That's why they haven't been doing this all along. It's because they're getting paid once again. All right. There was even a time where people, the Antifa movement, was extremely upset with George Soros, and there was riots just because he wouldn't pay people that were owed money by him for doing what they're doing right now. So, getting past that, it says. So I'm gonna take a couple steps back here, and it says that the Illuminati shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effects of absolute atheism, the origins of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. All right? And the most bloody turmoil. So, what you saw at UCLA last night is just a taste of what's to come. I'm telling you, it's just a taste of what's to come. I want you to listen closely because this involves every single one of you. Every single one of you. And you notice how these people are not afraid to go out and stand in the way of vehicles in the streets and completely lock down society and not let cars pass. People can't get to their jobs. People can't pay their bills. stores can't open. They completely shut things down by doing this stuff. But it says right here, then everywhere the citizens, so everywhere, I'm talking not just in the Middle East or anything like that, but everywhere else, the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries. So that's what it is. They're telling us the truth here. They're saying that these groups are a minority, but they project it, all right? They project it in the media as a majority, all right? They absolutely do. But the majority who is against this stuff and who is against this violence and who is against these kind of radicalized ideas is just standing back calmly watching going, I wonder what's really behind this, right? So here's the thing. We know that the Illuminati is behind it. The Illuminati controls both sides, and I'm talking the radicalized sides. I'm not talking the average everyday citizen that doesn't agree with this stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are in the higher ups of these groups that always end up looking like some martyr or some person falling in the line of their beliefs or something. You can almost see the smile on these pro-pals when they get arrested, all right? When they get arrested and they're getting carted off to jail and everybody's shouting, pumping their fists, you know what I mean? It's just, I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I hate to sound gross here, but they're stroking each other's egos is what they're doing, and they want to look like they're martyrs. They really do. They want to fall in the line of their beliefs. They really do. So anyways, so then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. So that's right there. What you saw at UCLA is just a taste of what's to come. All right, just a taste of what's to come. All right, and now here's the thing. So, I mean, I saw horrific violence. All right, horrific violence. But here's the thing: violence brings violence, and the Bible tells us that those who live by the sword die by the sword. Okay, so if you're going to go out and you're going to be violent, violence will come back to you. That is what the Bible is basically stating in a nutshell. All right. Thank you, Frankie. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So what I'm saying is that if you go out there and you intend to fight against this stuff, you're putting yourself in harm's way for no reason and no reason at all, honestly. You need to be home protecting your family is what you need to be doing, okay? If it comes to your doorstep, that's a different thing. That's a whole different ballgame. Someone comes to my house, I'll do whatever it takes to keep my family safe, even if it means my life. All right. And any godly man would do the same thing. Any godly woman would protect her children. You know what I'm saying? If it meant, her life or theirs. You see what I'm saying? So we have to stand up against this to a certain point. All right. But it doesn't mean going out to the college campuses and getting involved in this stuff. It absolutely means that you need to be paying attention, watching, waiting. But I'm telling you, the Third World War is developing right in front of you right now as we speak. And I'm literally sitting here proving it to you, and it's happening exactly as it was written down, just like the first two world wars. All right? I'm telling you, folks. All right? Now, it says, and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity. Remember, these are Satanists that are writing this out, okay? And they, they're stroking their egos. They're writing letters back and forth. Then the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will be from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out into the public view. So this is what I see happening, and this is the way I read this. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. So when this happens, the whole world's going to go, shame, shame on you Christians. Just like the Jews are getting it. After October 7th, the Jews went out and did what they had to do to keep Israel safe, okay? And when the Christians do what they have to do to keep themselves safe, the whole world's going to go, shame, 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 shame on you. And then they're going to take these things, they're going to take those, okay? And that's going to give them the reason to take those after the Civil War. And yes, this will bring about a civil war, global civil war in every country, okay? And then because of that, all right, they're going to allow Luciferianism to come out into the open. They're going to be able to start attacking the Christians And that's going to pave the path for the Antichrist to make war against the Christians and overcome them. I'm telling you, everybody is going to play into this, into the Luciferians, Satanists, and anti-Christian plan, okay, for the destruction of Christianity if they go out and they take part in whatever's coming. I'm telling you, that's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to pass these laws. This is the plan. I'm trying to warn you. I have warned you all along for months and months and months and months and months and months. I told you before Israel ever even got attacked on October 7th that this was coming. I told you even before Israel attacked Iran back that this stuff was coming. I told you before every single one of these multiple letter groups is out in the streets once again doing this stuff, that this was coming. And I hope you're listening to me now, people. Please listen to me. I'm begging you to listen to me here. Don't go out and take a part in what they're doing, all right? Don't go out into the night when these things are starting to happen. Stay home and protect your family. That's what it's about. That's what God wants you to do. And I'm telling you, we do this up until the pre-tribulation rapture comes. All right? If it comes tomorrow, amen. Praise be to God. We don't have to go through any of this. But as this is developing and getting worse, which it's gonna, I'm telling you, we might see a little idle here and there. Like it might idle down and bog down, and we might see a slowing down of things, but it's gonna ramp right back up. And I'm telling you right now, what you're probably not being told, that all over the place right now, Antifa's attacking infrastructure once again. There's infrastructure attacks all over the place happening right now. All right. And if you have any news about that, you can go ahead and put it in the live chat. If you know of certain infrastructure attacks that these people are doing, you can go ahead and put it in the live chat. But there's even, once again, train derailments happening and things like that. It's just a repeat of what has been going on, ramping back up again. So this is how they're going to take your guns. This is how they're going to destroy Christianity. And I'm going to prove it to you here. All right. So we already went through that. And it says this manifestation. So these people going out and doing this, manifesting this idea and making it a reality, will result from the general reactionary movement. So the general public and the reaction that they're going to have and the movement that's going to come from their reaction. All right. Which will follow the destruction of Christianity. I'm telling you, folks. And atheism. You want to know why atheism? Because atheists can't believe in Lucifer. Atheists can't believe in Lucifer. And that's why they want to get rid of these Gen Z punks, okay? And they want to get rid of Christians at the exact same time. And they're going to have the Christians wipe them out. I'm telling you, that's what's coming, my friends. All right? Unfortunately. And I'm going to prove it to you here in a second. And it says that they will be both conquered and exterminated at the same time. At the same time. Now, this Stu Peters guy, all right? I don't know much about him, but I do know he's calling for an uprising against all these people. He's calling for an uprising against Jews and all sorts of different stuff. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I don't follow him myself, but I've been getting word from people that I do know that there's like all sorts of Christians that are getting ready to do what they got to do and you know what they want to do. Actually, they don't have to do it, but what they want to do. There's a bloodlust in America that has been growing for quite some time, and it's going to manifest. It's going to manifest. This is going to, yeah, exactly, Pamela. It's going to usher in a one world order. It's going to usher in a one world religion, and they're going to light the world on fire. They're going to light the world on fire. But it's not going to just be through this. It's going to be through the next pandemic treaty that they're doing as well. And they're working on it right now as we speak. They're in closed meetings right now as we speak, working on a pandemic treaty. Getting things prepared for this bird flu pandemic that's already happening. And I mean, I can go through so many different articles right now where this thing is getting worse. I mean, day by day by day, it's getting worse. And I mean, like I said, there's lots of reports, but honestly, I mean, I think everybody kind of knows. But, you know, they're saying that cats are dying after drinking raw milk on farms. You know, because cats are going to go up to the puddles and stuff like that, lap it up, and they're dying. You know, and they're basically shutting down. You know, and just dying. There's cattle dying. You know, they're finding dead animals of all sorts of different species all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And it's just absolutely crazy. I will say a prayer for you after the live, Angela, most definitely. But, you know, so It's absolutely snowballing into something big. This is snowballing into something big, and they're going to come at it from all angles. They're going to try to lock us down, and when they lock us down, they're going to let these groups go wild. They're going to go wild. It is going to be a conundrum, a colossal conundrum. I'm telling you, folks. I'm warning you. I've been trying to tell you. I hope people are listening, because I'm telling you, people that watch this channel and that subscribe to this channel, that are frequently coming to this channel, listening to what we say here at End Times Talk, we have been telling you what's coming all along. And this channel is absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And I heard May 25th, he's supposed to sign the pandemic treaty. Oh, yeah. Yep, it's coming. It's coming. I think it's actually sooner than that. I can't confirm, but I heard that it's even sooner than that, possibly. But, yeah, so, I mean, they planned out this pandemic a long time ago, and people thought the coronavirus was the big deal. But it's this thing right here. It's this thing right here, the SPARS pandemic, 2025 to 2028. I'm telling you. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, they told you it was going to happen. They've been telling you all along it's going to happen. They give you movies like Songbird where the quarantine is for 2024. It starts 2024. And I think that they have to have it. They have to have it. They're losing their grip on everything, and they have to kind of pull the reins in tight once again on us. Most definitely. Give me a second here. But yeah, so like I was saying, today being May 1st is the Illuminati founding anniversary. May 1st, 1776, the Illuminati was founded. Like I said, all the riots across the board at all these colleges and things like that. It is absolutely unreal what's going on. And like I said, there's infrastructure attacks happening all over the place. You can go and do your research and look these things up, because I'm not going to stay live for too long. I have a lot of things that I have to do in the garden today, but I didn't want to leave people hanging without a live. I try to go live every day as much as I can, and I can come back with even more news and things like that tomorrow. But one that you're really going to love is that the White House is actually considering bringing in Palestinian refugees into America. Isn't that a good one? Isn't that a real good one? So even though the nations and the Muslim nations, all these people are Muslim in the Middle East, they won't even take in the Palestinians. And I'll tell you, there's a video, and it's probably on Twitter. You can probably find it on Twitter or X. I'm not going to link it, nothing like that. But go listen to what the Saudi Arabia prince, has to say about the Palestinians and why he won't take them in. All right, I won't say it here, but go listen to what those other Muslim nations are saying, why they won't take them in. I'm telling you, they absolutely won't take them in, and there is a reason for it. But America, I guess, is going to get involved in this, and they're considering taking in Palestinian refugees. And even the White House is warning people it's about to get chaotic. All right, and not to mention, you have Volt Typhoon. That's absolutely a Trojan horse waiting in our infrastructure of America, in the water supply and all that stuff. And not to mention, they're starting to find bird flu in wastewater now. They're starting to find bird flu in wastewater. So these things are snowballing, people, and they're not going anywhere. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. And it all happened after the eclipse. We told you on this channel nothing was going to happen more than likely on the day of the eclipse, but it was what followed after that would be everything that you needed to see. And everybody that watches this channel on a regular basis knows how I feel about the solar eclipse. But I'm not going to get involved in that. Honestly, I'm not going to get into endless rabbit holes that are a distraction. Even though dude, I know what I saw when that solar eclipse happened. I absolutely know what I saw. My eyes don't lie to me. All right, but I'll tell you right now. Hold on, Ben Fernie says I might have been hit with the bird flu. I'm extremely exhausted. I don't know why. I am also congested. I was congested for a little bit, but a lot of people prayed for me, and I'm feeling a whole lot better. Jennifer Flattery says my son is sick. I'm feeling like I might be getting sick soon too. I know there's a lot of people sick right now. A lot of people sick. Angel will definitely lift you up in prayer. The pain will improve quickly. Yeah, thank you, Barb, for praying for Angel. I'm going to pray for her after the live because this is more of a news live right now than a praying live on my end. I want to keep the news flowing. I got things I have to do, and I want to be hanging out with the missus tonight. COVID-19 was just a test to see how many would comply. I agree, but I don't think it's about complying, honestly, so much this time. I don't think they care if you comply or not this time, to be honest with you. I think if you get out there and you get Riley, you're playing into their hand. All right, plain and simple. I think if you go along with it, you're playing into their hand. They have this thing pretty well figured out. If for those of you who have been listening to this channel, I've been trying to tell you this thing is very well figured out, and they have every single angle that you turn to figured out. You know, there's no running to the hills with this thing. Everybody's going to have to face it if the Lord tarries. And I do believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. We have plenty of videos that prove, the existence of a pre-tribulation rapture. We go through even ample evidence, documentation even that goes all the way back to the times of Jesus. Like, I'm talking books that were written about the pre-tribulation rapture all the way back. But anyways, my point is that, anything can happen right now. Anything can happen right now. I think people need to start laying down their preconceived notions and look at what's unfolding right before you, because this isn't a joke anymore. You know, I think that people aren't taking the bird flu seriously because you were conditioned to not take the next pandemic seriously. All right. Like, people were absolutely brainwashed into thinking, oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. The beginning of COVID absolutely was something. The bodies were stacking up. There came a time where it fizzled out, but they maintained their iron grip of power upon the world. And then there came a time where it wasn't anything anymore. And it was just people getting sick from certain things and whatnot. And so it's just one of those things where you got to have to use the intelligence that God gave you, and all of the wisdom that God gives you starts with the fear of the Lord. You know what I mean? Being in alignment with what God has for you, being in alignment with the Bible, with what He's called us to do. You know what He's called you to do. You felt it your whole entire life. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, it's one of those things. Hold on one second. Gooby says, I try every day to be more patient for our Lord's return, but my selfishness is ready for it to ramp up. I just no longer have fear because of our Lord Jesus. I feel the same way. I'm excited about the pre-tribulation rapture, but right now, anything can happen right now. Anything can happen right now, and we could face something colossal. Nobody's promised a tomorrow right now. Nobody's promised a tomorrow right now. Anything can happen, and it's a ticking time bomb. It absolutely is a ticking time bomb. And I'm not saying I suggest that you go out and you pay attention to all this rioting and stuff that's all on these forums and things like that, these videos and these podcasts and broadcasts where they're showing these people fighting. It really does no good, but knowing in a nutshell at what's developing, I think is pretty key to knowing what time frame we're in. And like I said, I mean, this whole Third World War, it goes from here down. That's it. And I mean, we're like right here. All these things right here are happening already. I mean, it's literally happening as it was written out back in 1871. And I've been trying to tell people, and people don't take me seriously. And dude, I've done a lot of research for a very long time. And I would like to think that the Lord's given me some discernment, okay? Now, I can get a little upset sometimes and do a little shouty, and sometimes I'll kick ridiculous people out of the live chat. I'm not a tyrant, though. But I'm telling you, just because I do those things and I'm autistic and I have my troubles doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I'm telling you, most definitely, I do know what I'm talking about. And a lot of you know why I know what I'm talking about. And I've talked about him plenty of times, of someone that I've spent my time with over 10 years with. And I know the Illuminati plan. I know what they're going to do. Not because I'm Illuminati, but because I knew someone who was actually Illuminati that became a Christian that wanted to expose the whole thing. And his name was Doc Marquis. And I suggest paying attention. I really do suggest paying attention. And I'm not saying that, America is going to go dark overnight or anything like that, but we are most absolutely getting our infrastructure attacked right now. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. And I think because of what happened in UCLA last night, all right, we're going to see an amplification in violent nights in the coming days and weeks. Mark my words. Mark my words. We'll see. This thing's going to play out one way or another. And I really hope people are prepared for what's ahead because it's everything, you know. But I think that more than anything, people being prepared physically and mentally and emotionally, that we need to be prepared spiritually and be focusing on Jesus. Jesus is our everything right now. Jesus is our salvation. Jesus is our hope. You know what I'm saying? He is our strength in these last days. All right. He is going to be the one that helps you get to the finish line. He is going to be the one that gives you the strength to follow through. He is going to be the one that gives you the words to say when you go out and you preach, teach, and witness to other people about Jesus Christ. You know, we got a war to wage here, and it's a spiritual war. It says we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places. It also says in the Bible that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. All right? You don't pick up a baseball bat and smoke someone in the mouth with it. All right? You pray for them. All right? I'm telling you, strongholds and things like that are broken through prayer. There is more that you can do in rebuking a stronghold of a seducing spirit. Oh, yeah. It's not just a lustful spirit that's a seducing spirit, but there's a seducing spirit of violence upon this nation right now, and the Illuminati is most definitely helping conjure that up right now. And as Christians, if we would just stand against it and pray for Generation Z and pray for the other generation, you know, that's behind this thing, because Generation X is a part of this too. You have your middle-aged Americans that are getting out there. But I'm telling you right now, and I will warn you, the majority of this stuff that's happening right now isn't the Jews getting involved in this stuff. I'm not going to lie. There are some Jews that are absolutely spitting, sick, and mad. They're spitting mad and sick and tired of all the persecution. They're sick and tired of all the persecution, my friends. All right? I mean, what they did on October 7th that the pro-pals are downright denying now. And, I have footage. Don't make me make a video about October 7th, because I will prove all of you pro-pals wrong that want to say it never happened, because it happened. It absolutely happened. I have everything dated and organized and all that stuff. Don't make me make a video, because I'll prove you wrong. All right? The Lord told me when it happened, he says, I want you to download this, and this. And boy, there's a whole lot of this, and this. All right? But he told me to download it because he says there's coming a day where they're going to deny this happened, just like they denied the Holocaust, just like they denied that they put Jews in ovens. Jews are sick and tired of being slaughtered for their existence, just for their existence, for no other reason. And the Bible right here even tells us this, that they've been doing it for ages. They've been doing it for ages. They've been slaughtering Jews and slaughtering Christians for ages. All right? Thousands of years that they've been doing this. All right, they've been slaughtering Christians for 2,000 years, and they've been slaughtering Jews for 6,000 years. That's never stopped because Satan hates God's people. That's why it's happening. And these people these people that are doing this stuff are full of the devil. And that's why I'm trying to tell you. That is why I'm trying to tell you. All right, that prayer is what is going to win this battle. Not you going out and putting up your dukes and knowing what you're doing. All right. No martial art is going to save you. No knife is going to save you. All right. No gun is going to save you. Jesus is what's going to save you. Jesus is what's going to see you through. I'm going to end this live stream now. I appreciate everybody that's coming to watch this. I hope you are informed. I hope you are expecting what's coming, because it's coming, people. May God bless you all. May he keep you. And please don't forget to go out and change this world in which you live.